discuss the basic structure of gynoecium and study the structure of Anatropous ovule in detail along with other types of ovule as well. A very good day to each and everyone. I welcome you all once again to Alnaz Academy for part 5 of chapter 1, Reproduction in Lower and Higher Plants, Revised Syllabus 2020 Standard 12 Biology. This also covers NCERT Unit VI Chapter 2. And I am your facilitator, Nusrat Siddiqui, to help you and to guide you, having experience of more than 15 years in the field of teaching. Let us begin our today's topic with yet another inspiring quote by Mahatma Gandhi. And he says, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever," right? And we should be eager to gain knowledge and to learn. So let's start learning. We have already studied the structure of flower in part 2 of this series, where we have discussed about different parts of the flower. In that, we have discussed about gynoecium. You call it by gynoecium, carpel, pistil or megasporophyll. It's one and the same. And individual member of gynoecium is called carpel or megasporophyll. A typical carpel comprises of three parts, that is ovary, which consists of ovule, stigma and style. And now we are going to study these each part in detail with their function. Stigma can show a wide range of shapes from simple to lobed, feathery, funnel-shaped branch structure. It is the topmost part of the female reproductive unit of a flower, which remains exposed to the air and other elements. A stigma is commonly referred to as the head of the pistil. The surface of the stigma can be sticky, hairy, smooth, rough. Due to the viscous nature, it can easily catch the pollen grains of the male reproductive system or androecium, and it provides a platform for attachment of the pollen grains. Thus, it plays a crucial role by promoting the process of pollination, and it also performs the function of pollen adhesion, recognition of pollen grains, germination of pollen grains, begins the process of fertilization. It also prevents the entry of pollen grains from the different plant species. Till here, is it clear? Next, we are going to study about style. Style is a stalk-like and filamentous structure which acts as a joining element between stigma and an ovary. When pollen falls onto the stigma, it starts traveling down through the structure, refers as style. The style originates from the base, that is from the ovary, and it can be hollow or solid. Ovary is the most crucial part of the gynoecium which contains the female gamete refers to as ovule. If gynoecium do not contain ovary, then it is called as sterile. A pollen travels down from the style to the ovary and fuses with the ovule or megasporangia, thus bringing out the process of fertilization. It encloses and protects megasporangia and that carries megaspores. Ovary also provides nourishment to the developing ovule through the placental wall. We are going to now discuss the types of flowers based on the number of carpels. So types of flower based on number of carpel. If there is only one carpel, then it is called as monocarpellate. An example is mango, peach, coconut, avocado, to name a few. And if there are more than one carpel or more than one pistil, or we can say many carpels, then it is known as multicarpellate. And multicarpellate are of two types. If the flower comprises of free carpels, then it is called as Apocarpous. And if these carpels are fused together, then it is called as syncarpous. We have just discussed types of multicarpellate, means a flower having many carpels are termed as multicarpellate. Flower having many free carpels are termed as Apocarpous. Flowers having fused carpel are termed as syncarpous. Apocarpous examples are Michelia, strawberry, buttercup. Syncarpous examples are brinjal, papaya, tulip, hibiscus. Let us see how the Apocarpous looks like. So this is how the Apocarpous will look like, and this is how syncarpous looks. Let us discuss type of ovary based on number of ovules. So if there is only one ovule, then it is called as uniovulate. If there are many ovules, it is termed as multiovulate. So as I said earlier, uniovulate means one ovule having single ovule. Multiovulate means many ovules or multiple ovules. So example of single ovules are paddy, wheat and mango. They all are uniovulate. Whereas example of multi-ovules are tomato, ladyfingers. They all are multi-ovulate. So here let us have the quick diagram for our reference. We are quickly going to run through the types of locule and placentation in fruit. Okay, here I have taken an example of two, that is bilocular. Here you can see two locules which are present, and this is the placenta. And I have also taken an example of trilocular. So in this particular example, you can see three locules. So one, two, three locules are there, and this white part which you can see is the placenta. So I've taken an example of tomato and capsicum. Now, if we are talking about tomato, tomato need not necessarily be always bilocular. It can be trilocular as well. Okay, so ovary bears the ovules on a specialized part which is called as placenta. So this is the specialized part, and it provides nourishment to the ovules. These are the seeds, or these are the ovules. So over here this is the placenta, and these are the ovules, and a spectrum and is a cross wall or a partition of the ovary. So the walls of the ovary and the spectra, they form a cavity like structure. So here you can clearly see in this capsicum part, you can clearly see a cavity like structure which is called as locule. Now this you have already done it, but if you want me to explain types of locule and placentation in fruit in detail, do write into the comment section and I'll come up with a video for the same. In the basic type of placentation, the ovule or megasporangium, which is the swollen part, this is the ovule, it's a swollen part which is seen inside the ovary. Okay, it is either attached to the base of the ovary or towards the pedicel, then it is called as basal placentation. And if this ovule or megasporangium is attached to the apex of the ovary, then it is called as apical placentation. So these are the basic type of placentation. This ovule can be many or only one. We have already studied uniovulate and multiovulate, but we are going to study the most common ovule which is seen in the angiosperm, and that is the Anatropous ovule. So we are going to study the structure of Anatropous ovule in detail. Anatropous ovule can be broadly divided into two parts, that is the stalk-like part and the body-like part. So it can be divided into two parts. So this is the stalk-like part which is attached to the placenta, and the entire body-like part. So we will study them in detail now. This is the Anatropous ovule which we are going to study in detail. For convenience sake, I have divided it into the three parts. So first we are going to see the lowermost part. In the lowermost part, the stalk-like structure. So this is the stalk-like structure which is called as funicle, through which it is attached to the placenta. So funicle is the stalk-like part and it is attached to the placenta. In angiosperm, the most common type we know is Anatropous ovule, and in Anatropous ovule, the micropyle pole is directed downwards, and it is lying adjacent to the funicle. It is just lying adjacent to the funicle, and micropyle pole is directed downwards and is present adjacent to the funicle. There is a narrow opening. This is the narrow opening at the apex of the ovule, which is called as micropyle, and through micropyle the pollen tube enters. The tissue of the funicle extends to the body part, and it is called as raphe, and the attachment, that is the place where the funicle is attached to the body, it is called as hilum. And the ovule has got layers or covers which are called as integument. So outer cover is called as outer integument and inner cover is called as inner integument. Anatropous ovule has got two integument, hence it is also termed as bitegmented. Inside the inner integument, there is a mass of cells which are diploid in nature, and these mass of cells are called as nucellus. Sometimes nucellus has got plenty of cells, sometimes nucellus has less cells. If the nucellus has more cells, then they are called as crassinucellate, and if they are less, then they are called as tenunucellate. So nucellus, when less, if it is less in number, then it is called as tenuinucellate, and if it is more in number, then it is called as crassinucellate. Generally, nucellus is absorbed or it is lost during the development of embryo, but sometimes the nucellus remains within when the seed is formed. We will discuss it later. Alright, one of the cell which is at the micropyle. So one of the cell which is at the micropyle, it becomes bigger and it is termed as megaspore, mother cell. The cell is diploid and it undergoes meiosis, resulting in the formation of 4 haploid megaspores. Embryo sac is a female gametophyte. It is oval, multicellular, and it is embedded in the nucellus. So embryo sac is female gametophyte. It is embedded in the nucellus. The end where the integument is arising, this end is called as chalaza pole or chalaza end, which is just opposite to the micropyle, and each part has a role to play. In most of the cases, the pollen tube enters through the micropyle, the integument they changes into the seed coat, and the entire ovule changes into seed. The important thing to note is Anatropous ovule is upside down. It has two parts, the funicle and the body part. The funicle extends to the body part, which is called as raphe, and the point of extension is called as hilum. There is a small opening which is near the funicle, which is called as micropyle, through which the pollen tube enters. The anatropous ovule is bitegment. Just opposite to the micropyle is the chalazal end or chalaza pole, and embryo sac is the female gametophyte, and the formation of female gametophyte we are going to discuss in our next video. Now for learning or to study about the types of ovule, you have to remember these three keywords, that is chalaza, micropyle and funicle. Let us see the types of ovule. The first one over here is Orthotropous ovule. Orthotropous ovule is upright. Here we can see micropyle, chalaza and funicle. They are all in this straight line. That's the reason why it is also called as straight ovule, because micropyle, chalaza and funicle, they are in a straight line, and it is very common in gymnosperm. The next one is Anatropous ovule. Now in Anatropous ovule, it is exactly opposite of the Orthotropous ovule, and in Anatropous ovule, the whole body is inverted in a position making an angle of 180 degree, due to which micropyle becomes very closer to the hilum. It is most commonly seen in the angiosperm. Next we are going to see is Hemitropous ovule. It is transverse in nature and it makes an angle of 90 degree, due to which the micropyle and the chalaza, they lie in the same alignment and funicle at one place. As a result, they form a 90 degree with the funicle. So this is micropyle and chalaza, this is funicle, and they are forming a 90 degree, and it is called as Hemitropous ovule. The next we are going to study is Campylotropous ovule. It is between Anatropous ovule and Hemitropous ovule. In case of Anatropous ovule, the micropyle is at the lower end, and in case of Hemitropous ovule, the micropyle is forming a 90 degree with the funicle. If we compare the position of micropyle of Anatropous and Hemitropous ovule to that of Campylotropous ovule, the micropyle lies somewhere between these two. The position of micropyle is somewhere between Anatropous and Hemitropous ovule. In this type of ovule, the megasporangium becomes curved, or it is curved in position. So due to this curvature, the micropyle and the chalaza, they do not lie in the same position or same alignment. Amphitropous ovule is similar to Campylotropous ovule. It is also angular as Campylotropous ovule. Over here, the main body of Amphitropous ovule is horseshoe shaped, where the embryo also becomes curved, so forming the horseshoe shaped structure. So it appears that the main body and the embryo sac both appears to be having the horseshoe shaped structure. That's the reason why the name is Amphitropous ovule. Circinotropous ovule, in this type, first the main body is at angle of 180° and then it takes a turn and moves to the angle of 360° and becomes upright. So micropyle becomes upright. So similar to the Orthotropous ovule, the only difference is it takes a 360° turn, making a full circle, and the ovule is upright. So in Circinotropous ovule, the main body is moving up to an angle of 360° and it is upright. The six types of ovule which we have just seen, the first one is Orthotropous ovule, which is an upright ovule most commonly seen in gymnosperm. Second one is Anatropous ovule. We have studied the detailed structure of Anatropous ovule, most common in angiosperm, and it is an inverted ovule. The third one is Hemitropous ovule, which over here the micropyle chalaza and funicle forming a 90° with each other. The fourth one is Campylotropous ovule. In Campylotropous ovule, the position of micropyle is somewhere between Anatropous and Hemitropous, and micropyle and chalaza do not lie in the same alignment. The fifth one is Amphitropous ovule, which is similar to Campylotropous ovule, but over here the embryo sac also becomes curved. That's the reason why it is called as Amphitropous ovule. So Campylotropous ovule, Amphitropous ovule, they are angular in nature. The last one is Circinotropous ovule, which is very much similar to the Orthotropous ovule. The only difference is in Circinotropous ovule, the main body takes a 360 turn, forming a full circle. Let us do a quick recap. We have studied about the structure and function of each part of the pistil, that is style, stigma and ovary. We have also discussed the function of each of them. We have also studied about types of pistil or carpel, where we have studied about Apocarpous and syncarpous. We have discussed about the types of ovary, uniovulate and multiovulate. We have studied in detail the structure of Anatropous ovule, which is most common in angiosperm and it's an inverted ovule. We have also studied about the types of ovule. There are 6 types of ovule that we have studied. That's all for today. If you have any questions, do write to me at alnazacademyofficial@gmail.com. So till we meet next time, stay safe, stay positive, do like, subscribe and share this video with your friends so that even they may benefit. An entire playlist will be uploaded soon. So till we meet next time, take care, bye bye, thank you and happy learning.